No one could have seen this coming. He wasn't even supposed to be there. No invite, no spot on the list. But suddenly, there he was, J.D. Vance, easing into the shadows at the back of a secretive meeting deep in the Capitol. Imagine the scene, a dimly lit room buzzing with tension, where lawmakers huddled over the fate of America's trade future. The session title sounded harmless, Safeguarding Economic Independence. No live feeds, no reporters, just elites in suits. Their words bouncing off polished wood walls, thinking they own the silence. But what if one surprise guest could tear it all apart? And that's when Hakeem Jeffries stepped in. No big entrance, no warning. Just a subtle nod from the chair as he claimed his seat at the table's end. House Speaker Jeffries, a name that commanded the full force of the Democratic machine. The air grew thick right away. Backs stiffened. Screens flicked off. Conversations died. Everyone rose in respect, except one man. J.D. Vance stayed planted in his chair, arms folded tight, eyes locked on his notes. He didn't make a peep. Not at first, but that simple act of staying seated screamed louder than words. You could cut the awkwardness with a knife, those quick looks darting his way, full of questions. Was it defiance or pure grit? Vance didn't care. He wasn't here for games. He was here to stand his ground. And Jeffries, cool as ever, was ready to push back hard. Jeffries claimed the spotlight with calm power, his voice deep and steady, cutting through the room. The economy isn't a roll of the dice, he began. Tariffs aren't props for a show. And decisions. He paused, his sharp eyes sweeping every face. Can't be driven by folks who chase headlines over real results. A low wave of approval hummed from half the table. Careful and forced, not wild cheers, not full agreement, just the bare minimum nod to stay safe. Vance didn't join in. But the note-taker up front had already slipped up twice, scribbling J.D. Vance instead of J.D. over and over. And Vance let it slide. No wave, no cough to interrupt. Instead, he gave his phone a light tap, a tiny buzz, so soft you might miss it, but it was real. Right then, the vibe shifted just a bit. What was he setting in motion? Jeffries pressed on, his tone edging sharper now. He slammed those who, he said, twisted economic power into political stunts. He ripped into leaders, turning budgets into bad theater. No names dropped, none needed. The whole room got the target. But Vance gave nothing back. No frown, no head shake, no comeback. Just a slow reach to flip open his thin tablet. Careful, no rush. Like whatever was inside packed more punch than any rant. He didn't peek at it, didn't swipe through. He just let it wake up. The screen casting a soft light. That kind of quiet move that plants doubt, the type that rattles the big shots. And believe me, this was only the start, because no one saw it coming. No one could guess. Vance wasn't here to argue back. He was here for one question, one single line. But first, before he said a word, head trigger, something huge, a recording clear, strong, and impossible to deny. And when it hit play, everything would change. Suddenly, the real question wasn't if Vance belonged. It was who didn't. He leaned close to the mic like he owned every inch of the debate. Hakeem Jeffries cleared his throat just a touch. The quiet wrapped around him like always. Then, with a voice shaped by endless house fights, he laid it out. The economy isn't a performance. Choices aren't acts in a play. In strategy, he held back, letting it sink in deep, like truth taking root. Shouldn't bow to those who shine brightest under lights. The chamber didn't explode. It locked up tight, then came the head bobs. Not loud or real or from the heart. It was that forced kind. The one where people agree to cover their backs. Not because they mean it. A couple yas, a few grunts. But mostly heavy silence spiked with nerves. J.D. Vance didn't budge an inch. He didn't bob along, didn't twitch. And yet somehow, his stillness shooted over the noise. He knew that shot wasn't random. It was aimed straight, on purpose, drawing a hard divide between us and them. Between the old pros and anyone brave enough to speak facts with fire and focus. But Vance kept quiet. For now, the transcriber bent low to whisper. J.D. Vance entered. A quick okay from the other side locked it in. Then again, twice total, 2 clear mistakes on his name. J.D., not J.D. Slip up or slide dig. He didn't flinch, didn't fix it. Because J.D. Vance figured out long ago, when people won't see you right, proving it won't help, but making them face you head on, that flips the script. His hand drifted slow to the small device by his tablet. No show, no heads up, just a firm press. Tap. The feed kicked off. It wasn't flashy, wasn't over the top. It was low key. So low most didn't catch it at first. But the ones who did, they felt the ground move. Jeffries rolled on, clueless. He talked toughness, fairness, how money rules need to beat out gut feelings. He hit gut feelings twice, like drive and smarts couldn't mix, like goals and cash were enemies. But Vance, he held firm. He didn't fire back, didn't have to, because something else was about to talk. A signal, one they all knew. And when it aired, no amount of ranks, ties, or yas could stop the fallout. Because as Jeffries tried to shrink him with a wrong name, Vance had just flipped the switch on the one thing no one could brush off, the proof. His words hung up for a split second, barely enough to notice. But Vance caught it. It hit right after opportunists, right as he tried to carve a clear split between real leadership and crowd-pleasing tricks. Hakeem Jeffries shuffled his papers, then pushed ahead. The loudest voices, he said slow and sure, are often hiding from the quiet. A pause. Another. He let it dangle like a test. And again, no direct call-outs. But everyone felt the aim. You could taste it in the air. Heads tilting his way just a hair. Eyes flicking not for fixes, but for fights. But Vance gave zero. No cringe, no huff, no glance up. He sat steady, breathing even. Cool. Almost separate. And that's what got under their skin. Because when someone stays mute that long, you wonder, are they tuning in? Or loading up Hakeem Jeffries shifted in his spot. His voice got edgier, almost snappy. He broke down bosses who grabbed money controls. How snap calls and drama were turning cash flows into feeling fights. The more he built it up, the more he hammered risks of spinning rules into stories. But the deeper he went, the weirder it got. His tone lost its rock-solid edge. It turned guarding, like a guy not giving advice, but backing himself up. Still, Vance said zip. No cuts in, no sarcasm. No shield. He didn't need a shield. He wasn't the target, wasn't begging the room to buy his story. He was just waiting. And then he moved slow. On purpose. Reaching out to light up the tablet in front. Not fast, not fancy. Just fingers brushing the side. Powering the screen. Showing what hid inside. Graphs. Lined up neat. Marked. Highlighted. Stored. He didn't pull from them. Didn't wave them. He just let them show. Gave them space. Like facts getting a second to gear up before the call. He didn't eye Hakeem Jeffries. Didn't eye the transcriber. Didn't even eye the folks muttering behind hands. He kept locked on the display. And in that dead air, something solid built. Control. He had it locked. Jeffries owned the mic, but Vance owned the mood. Because while Jeffries chased wins with talks, Vance held the real killer. Evidence. And the room sensed it coming. Even without knowing the details yet, they knew a storm was brewing. Something he couldn't talk past. Outside the heavy door, a junior staffer named Alex, tasked with coffee runs and note fetching, pressed his ear closer, heart pounding at the muffled voices, sensing this wasn't just another dull policy chat, but something explosive about to break. He kept his eyes straight, said nothing, just pointed a finger at the device on the table and hit play, a soft tap. Then the audio rolled. That background hum you only pick up in a spot where no one expects ears listening. A light shuffle, a far-off throat clear, the buzz of lights above. Then the voice hit, low, familiar, in charge. And no doubt Hakeem Jeffries. They can yell about tariffs till they're blue, the voice said, cool and steady. But we built the deals ourselves. 2.5 billion came through. It's not pressure. It's smart play. No cuts, no tweaks, no gray area. Just a line that cut the room sharp as glass. And the closer, long as it runs through the caucus pot, who's digging dead quiet. Real dead quiet. Not planned. The kind that drops when a group realizes they heard the forbidden. Some looked away fast. Others stared Vance down, hunting for fakes or twists or mix-ups. But deep down, they knew. No way to fight the sound. No fight on the rhythm. No fight on the facts. This was Hakeem Jeffries in a locked talk, breaking down cash, pull, and the unbreakable cover of his team's setup. He hadn't yelled, hadn't warned, didn't sound mad, and that's what stung worst. It felt every day, like business as usual, a hush-hush swap, a clever move, a hidden game, and Vance, he stayed wordless. Didn't pause it, didn't loop it, didn't add notes. He just let the words float like fog in a shut room, bit by bit. They stuck in every head there, the helpers, the writers, the lawmakers, even Jeffries. And still, he held back. No need to spell it out, they got it. And once you get it, it's stuck. Especially from the guy who just preached economics, errant shows, and rules errant acts. Hakeem Jeffries glanced down at the table, but in his eyes, for the first time, something flickered like self-doubt. A crack in his unbreakable front. The audio cut off. No shouts, no fights, not even a call to wipe it, just pure silence. Hakeem Jeffries didn't look up. No one else did. The room hung there, not shocked, but seeing clear, because what hit wasn't new. It was proof of what they suspected. And J.D. Vance kept quiet still. He just dug into his tablet and pulled one file. No drama, no hype, just clean digital weight, sharp and heavy. He beamed it to the big screen, facing out, bare. The top read, Caucus Economic Alignment Fund Allocation Overview. Under it, the number $2,500,000,000. Receiver, Global Trade Partners Coalition. He didn't zoom it, didn't pass it round for eyes that weren't there. He let it sit, a signal with no flash. Then his voice, even, steady, not blaming, just asking. Can the group clear this up for me? Nothing stirred. Why does this record? He tapped the top with one finger. List the goal of this cash drop, as after tariff, steady step, frowns deepened, papers moved, but no words came. He waited a second, then added soft. And why? He tacked on easy. Did this money move the exact week? Congress greenlit the China Tariff Rise Law. That name flipped the room's feel. China Tariff Rise Law. The bill was massive. Trillions shifted in deals. A call that tipped scales to home big shots over world ties. And now this. A group fund, a billion-level push, and a tag hinting steady after. Post-green light. Not before, not during, after, no one talked. Not the lawmaker a few chairs off who once pushed with trade bosses. Not the writer who double-checked the cash okay. And not Hakeem Jeffries. His face now hard as rock. Because legal or not didn't count. It counted that it sparked a doubt. One no one wanted near. But Vance. He held steady. Didn't raise it. Didn't look fired up. He just let the doubt hang by the screen like a spark by dry grass. One flick from flames. And still, no one grabbed water. No one stepped up to speak. Because some room moments shift power. Not with noise, not with scares, but with one fact. And a guy not scared to let silence talk. He didn't rush. Didn't lean in. Didn't crank the volume. J.D. Vance just shut down the tablet in front and looked up. First time that day, their eyes met dead on. Hakeem Jeffries stared back. For a leader used to calling shots, his gaze held something new, calm on top, but underneath, something quieter, harder to pin. He gave the beat room to breathe. No breaks, no moves. And then Vance spoke. Speaker Jeffries. He said smooth. I'm not here to point fingers. His tone wasn't harsh, wasn't showy. It was even, on target. I haven't thrown a charge, haven't spun a take. He stopped, let the words bounce off the wood sides. I played a clip, a straight line, a fact no one can fight. And now I want one question, he eased back. Arms crossed fresh, no extras, no show. Just real. Do you admit, he asked low, the voice we all heard belongs to you? That's all. No blame, no grill, just the ask. 7 seconds ticked, then 10. He didn't blink, didn't yes, didn't no. Hakeem Jeffries sat frozen, like quiet could guard him somehow. But right there, his quiet turned into more. It turned answer. Not no, not yes, just empty space. And the room full of folks who once sized power by loud, now sized it by what's left unsaid. Because in policy world, words count as proof. But in truths, big court, so does nothing. Vance didn't ask twice. Didn't need to. It already spun the room, landing in every mind. He didn't need words back for all to hear. He had them. And now no take back, no side note, no clear up, no release. Just that freeze frame in the air where the top dog looks small all at once. Not from a yell over him, but from someone with guts to ask and brains to let quiet do the job. Outside in the hall, a top aide got a quick text. It's live, and from there, the storm started to spread. The meeting never wrapped official. No bang to end, no last words, no vote. People just filed out one by one. Quiet as ghosts leaving a sight they can't forget. By evening, the peace was out. Not from news crews, not staff slips, from someone in that spot. Low quality, side angle grab from a tool not meant to grab, but it was true, and it spread like wildfire. The voice, the amount, the nothing, hours in, it ruled worldwide. Hashtag 2.5 billion query, more than a label. A wake up, money talks blew up, boards rushed. By morning, calls rolled for full checks on every deal Hakeem Jeffries touched last 5 years. Thinkers who dodged the topic now wrote pieces titled Integrity, Pull, and Hyde's Price. And the lines that stuck came, not from talkers, not lawmakers, but a money morals pro at Harvard who wrote, J.D. Vance didn't slam Hakeem Jeffries for wrong, didn't push for out, didn't yell, he asked once. And that made the system stare at itself. That bit went huge because it wasn't just one guy. It was spots we call key, treated like closed clubs. Choices shaping lives whispered in locked halls. The bad idea that power soft enough vanishes. But J.D. Vance said no to quiet is okay. And what crushed so hard wasn't the proof. It was the cool. He didn't call press, didn't drop a note, didn't brag or twist or boost. He typed one line. It hit his main page, no pick, no frills. Plain words. A question hits no one if the answer's clean. That got shared by crowds, drawn on signs, stamped on shirts, stuck in talks gone for years. But bigger, it sparked. Money students asked how deal rules get kept. New planners traced cash paths, past groups and steady steps. And regular people got that good in public work isn't speeches. It's answer and brave. Because Vance never cranked his voice. But he cranked the bar. In a world where mad comes cheap and true, gets buried under flash. He showed there's still strength in right ask at right time, right way. Not to break, but to show. Because in the end, the real threat in the room isn't the shouter. It's the one who spots what others skip and steps up. In the weeks that followed, the fallout hit hard. Jeffries faced mounting calls to step down as speaker. His once iron grip on the caucus slipping amid ethics probes into the fund. While Congress launched a bipartisan investigation into tariff-related trades, uncovering layers of insider deals that left several allies scrambling. Though Jeffries clung to his post for now, vowing to fight on as the scandal promised more twists ahead.